In this video I'll be working on a commission to make a bespoke dartboard cabinet for a client. The door of the cabinet will fold down to cover a radiator that sits beneath where it will be mounted to protect the radiator from low-flying darts. The client had quite specific ideas about what he wanted, to the point where he even shared some documents with me with lots of information including dimensions, design, the spec of all of the hardware. So on this project there wasn't much creative input from me, but I did do my own drawing on SketchUp just to get my head around how I was going to do all of the joinery, and I also suggested what wood and finishes might be good to use based on how the client wanted it to look. And for this one I'm going to be using walnut veneered MDF. My local timber yard doesn't stock it, but they were able to order it in for me. It only took a few days to arrive, and when I got there I had them cut each sheet in half to make the pieces more easier to manage.
First I cleaned up the factory edges by making a cut with the track saw, and then I could start measuring and marking up the panels based on the dimensions from my drawing. This was my first time using the track saw. Regular viewers will know that before getting this I was just using a circular saw and a straight edge. And you can see here that I'm still getting used to using this new tool. I did the smaller rip cuts for the side, bottom and top panels at the table saw. I could then offer the top and bottom panels up to the back panel to mark them up for length by getting one edge flush and then using two offcuts of the same material to represent the thickness of the side panels. I cut them to length at the mitre saw. And then I could mark up the side panels for length, and there was no need to use the spacer blocks here.
I'm going to be applying some iron-on walnut edge banding to cover the MDF edges. The stuff I got was from eBay and I was really impressed by the quality of it. Not only did it come with comprehensive instructions, which to be honest I didn't read, but the quality of the veneer was excellent, very straight grained, which made it easier to trim. This isn't an advert or anything like that, but the supplier on eBay was Veneers Online. I'll leave a link to their website in the description box below if you're interested in checking it out.
I applied the banding using an iron on maximum heat setting, starting with the short edges first, and then I used a block of wood with rounded over edges to press it down firmly while the glue cures. And then I could do the long edges in exactly the same way. I don't have an edge banding trimmer, and to be honest I don't really want one because I found that most of them have mixed reviews. Instead I just used a chisel held at a slight angle to remove the excess material, taking away a bit at a time until it was flush with the faces. It's pretty easy though, as long as you hold the chisel at a consistent angle and it's nice and sharp of course. And I could use the chisel to trim the ends flush too. Using a bit of 100 grit sandpaper on my sanding block removes any of the glue squeeze out and eases over the corners to make it almost look as good as solid wood. Here I'm positioning the bottom and top panels using the spacer blocks again. And then I can mark up where I want to add some dominoes to keep the panels aligned and also add strength to the joints. I'm using some masking tape here for two reasons. Firstly, I won't need to worry about the pen marks on the wood, and secondly, it'll help keep wood glue off it too. I also mark up where the domino joints are going to be so that I don't get confused later and add them in the wrong place. I then need to transfer the marks using a small square to the top so that I can reference from the fence of the domino and cut the joints before adding glue and assembling. I'm using parallel clamps for the glue up. The masking tape trick doesn't always work so well, so I cleaned up any glue squeeze out with a damp cloth. While it was in clamps, I could cut the joinery for the side panels in the same way. And later on, once the glue had set, I could move the clamps and secure the next panels. The bottom panel of this cabinet is going to have a door mounted to the front of it, and because MDF is quite heavy, I had some concerns that the domino joints might not be strong enough. So after discussing with the client, I decided to add a couple of screws through the bottom panel and into the side panels. After marking up where I wanted them, I drilled pilot holes and then I came back with a 9mm bit to drill the start of the holes wider. I then added the screws. And then to hide the screw heads, I drilled some plugs at the pillar drill. I'm using mahogany for this because I don't have any walnut. It won't be a perfect colour match for the walnut, but I knew that later I could add some stain to help it blend in. I think that the plug cutters that I'm using here are in imperial sizes because I found that the plugs were slightly bigger than 9mm. I think they might be 3/8 of an inch, which works out to be 9.5mm. So I chucked up the plugs in my drill and sanded them down to size. I could then add glue and hit them in place before cleaning them up with a sharp chisel and a bit of sanding. Next I could measure up for the door, and I'm going to be using thinner 13mm veneered MDF for that as opposed to the 19mm stuff I've used up until now, just to help keep the weight down a little. After measuring up for size, I then measured the thickness of the edge banding, which will later be applied to the edges, because I want to account for the thickness of that, as well as a small gap of about 2mm to ensure that the door doesn't rub on the top panel when opening and closing. I made the cut with the track saw again, and here's more evidence that I'm not quite used to using it yet. I then offered up the door and I could mark up where to make cuts for the sides. Doing it this way seemed like the best way to get a perfect fitting door, just in case the cabinet was skewed out of square, even by a very small fraction. Then I could simply offer up the track to that line and make the cuts. That panel got edge banded too. And this time I tried using a plain iron to trim the excess away, but for me, I preferred using a chisel, so I soon reverted back to that. Next I'm going to be adding a piece of the 19mm thick MDF to the bottom of the door. Initially I just glued and clamped it in place and wiped away the excess glue. And once the glue had dried, I came back and added some more screws, which again I plugged with mahogany. One mistake I made here though is not aligning the grain of the plugs to the grain of the walnut. Unfortunately I didn't realise that until later when the glue had set. Perhaps it was the masking tape getting in the way and putting me off. After a light sanding by hand, I brushed away all of the dust and then I could start applying finish, and for that I'm going to be using shellac. I chose this because I wanted to pop the grain of the wood and it dries nice and quickly too. I applied it sparingly using a cotton cloth in the direction of the grain. And then I used a brush when it came to doing the inside edges. I came back and applied a second coat, and that really brought out the deep colour of the walnut. When the shellac was dry, I wet sanded with 400 grit wet and dry paper. I prefer this to doing it dry because that clogs up the sandpaper quite quickly. And then I applied a top coat of water-based varnish just to add a bit of added protection for the cabinet. Here are the hinges that the client chose to have installed. These were purchased from Etsy. I wanted to cut a rebate for them to sit in, so after marking up the position, I set my router bit to cut to the depth of the hinge plates. I used my trim router to cut away most of the material, and then used a chisel to get a perfect fit. I could then drill pilot holes and add the screws, and I didn't really like these screws. They were quite short, and also I thought that some brass ones would look nicer, so later on in the project I'll replace these. Because the hinge was a little less wide than the thickness of the two panels, I came back with some walnut stain just to blend in the colour of the MDF with the walnut, and that worked really well.
I wasn't planning on doing anything else to the back of the cabinet because it's going up against the wall and no one will ever see it, but after speaking with the client, he wanted that to look good too, and he was happy to pay for the extra materials and time it would take me to do the work. By this point, the cabinet was pretty difficult to maneuver in such a small workshop, but I managed to get it turned over so that I could start working on the back. First I sanded it, and then I used the card scraper to remove any of the dried up glue. And then I edge banded the back edges too. It would have been much easier to do this before the unit was assembled, but it turned out okay. And I wiped on some white spirit just to check I'd removed all traces of any dried up glue. There's still a lot more to do in this project, so please join me in part 2, where I'll be installing some cork to the inside of the cabinet. I'll also be making some dart holders and a tow line, plus I need to figure out how to fit the dartboard in a way so that it's rotatable. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also support the channel on Patreon if you'd like to get early access to my videos, exclusive content, a name credit at the end of my videos, and access to project plans and cut lists. Thank you for watching.